Hi, my name's Juliet, and I'm talking today about a special format under the script writing function in Scrivener 3 for Windows, and that's the interview format. This is not a separate template at startup like many of the script writing formats. It is, however, in the script writing menu, under Format. This might be useful for having a written record of interviews you do as research, or for podcast transcription. So for this, I'm using a normal blank format document, not adapting a script format. If you use another script writing format, it complicates things. One thing I learned doing this in this format, which I didn't realise before, is that the yellow formatted script text documents only appear as new documents when you're in script writing mode. When you cancel script writing mode, you get normal text documents. So it would be possible to combine this format with a normal text format if you needed to. But you have to be careful not to be in the normal formatted document when you change to script writing mode, or that will turn yellow. So in the Format Script Writing menu, select Interview. Just a quick note, if you do decide to do this from within another script writing format, you'll get a pop-up that confirms you want to convert your script format to the interview format and which elements are going to be changed. You'll see an example of this later. Your options in this format are Query, Answer and Comment, plus you have a General Text and General Text Centered option. So let's just look at what they produce. I'd always suggest having your ruler showing when using these formats. The different options can be accessed in the same way as any other script format. I'll just use two of the methods here, in the box bottom right, and by pressing Enter and Enter again for the pop-up list on each item. If you want to know the whole story about accessing the script elements, there's a section about that in this BBC Drama Script video. Now, the two general texts. General Centered is just that in no style. And General is at the margin and seems to take on whatever style is previously selected. Here it's the format at startup in this interview document. Query and Comment are set up as an interviewer and interviewee conversation, with different formatting for each speaker. Type in the name and press Tab, and a colon will be added, and you can type the question or answer. The comment indents the text to be a block under the questions and answers, and is in a lighter grey colour. If we go into the script settings, you'll see that everything is set to Arial, which you can obviously change if you don't like it. The other thing you might need to change is the indent level, if, for example, you are using longer names. Remember, you'll have to do these things separately for each element. Changing the indent is not straightforward. You need to change left indent and first tab on the paragraph page to the same amount, or you'll get a tab before the indent that screws up everything with the indent. You do need that tab or the formatting doesn't work properly. If you do make a change, you'll get a pop-up that prompts you to change to New Interview. This is the pop-up I mentioned earlier if you're in a script writing template. However, this New Interview format, although it does work in this document, does not give you a new option in the list. So if you want to use this format for everything, you can click on Manage and Save for Other Projects. Then it appears in the list in the script writing menu. However, so far I can find no easy way to delete this, so be sure you want it there first. If anyone else knows how, please let me know in the comments. Another option is to choose Save to File. Then, when you open up a new project, you can use Load from File and have the format to use without it being in the menu. Okay, before we go to compile, I think we need to check the section types, because straightforward text is going to be formatted differently from interview pages. Now, in the compile screen, because I used a blank template, there are only the basic compile layouts available, the ones that are available in all Scrivener templates. I'm not going to choose script or screenplay, as it only has the option for as-is text. Instead, I'm going to use the modern format, because I haven't tried that one before. So you're going to have to think carefully about formatting here. There are two options in the format: main text following the format of the editor, and as is. I'm going to try both for the interview pages to see if there's any difference, and have the other text as section text. And for the ebook, I'm going to choose the standard ebook format, because if you've watched the BBC Drama ebook video, you'll know there are issues with the specific format, and I'm going to use a combination of as is and section text. So, in Word, the main text as editor and as is work exactly the same way. In all the formats, as is requires a page break before. This means every interview will have a new page. You can have the interview first with plain text pages afterwards, until you get to the next interview. Or the other option would be to format every change of style with a page break before. This, of course, can be changed manually in a Word document after compile. However, in an ebook, if you ever need to create one for something like this, you'll need to think more carefully about your formatting. So I think this format works well, but I'm pretty sure most people will want to change the text formatting. Whether you want to do that in Scrivener with all the complications of the script setting window, or after you've compiled into Word, is up to you. Thanks for watching, and if you subscribed, I'll see you again next time.